the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who is in the country for the G20 summit, now followed by a bilateral meeting and a bilateral visit with the Indian side. We are given to understand that there are a host of bilateral meetings that will take place between India and Saudi Arabia today, and thereafter the Saudi Crown Prince will be departing this evening. Do remember that India has been trying to focus keenly on its ties with Saudi Arabia as well as the other Gulf nations. So this visit is being very keenly watched in terms of what it brings for India as well as on the other side for Saudi Arabia. Do remember that the Saudi Arabian government has announced a huge fund for the redevelopment and essentially for a new focus for Saudi Arabia. That's about $3 billion. And we are seeing increased investment from various companies in Saudi Arabia. The pictures on your screen are of the Saudi Crown Prince. All right, so pictures on your screen are of the ceremonial welcome that is being accorded to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. Joining us right now also on the broadcast is Abhishek Kapoor, our Senior Executive Editor. Abhishek, good morning. Abhishek, of course, India has invested keenly in its partnership with Saudi Arabia. But apart from that, the key development yesterday is the announcement of the mega India, Middle East, Europe shipping and rail connectivity corridor.
Well, yes, that's a big one. But remember, this is a bilateral visit, Nupur, and in the pictures we see the two leaders making each side meet their respective delegations. So we have Mohammed bin Salman now introducing his delegation to President Murmu and Prime Minister Modi, and before that we had Prime Minister Modi having introduced his team to Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. Before that, of course, there was the Tri-Services Guard of Honor. This is a ceremonial welcome because it's a state visit. Second for MBS, as he's called. Last time he came in 2019 was also a state visit. And we have seen under the two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, there is new resilience and strength that has really come.
I'm very glad to be in India and well done with a great agenda and a lot of announcements that will benefit both country and G20 country and the whole world. So I want to say to India, well done, and we're going to work to create a great future for both countries. Thank you.
Well, so that was a brief comment that was coming in from MBS over there, as there are a series of bilateral meetings that are lined up between India and Saudi Arabia. Right, going back across to Abhishek, who's still with us on the phone line. Abhishek, obviously there is a lot of investment from the Indian side also in improving relationship with the entire Gulf, particularly with Saudi Arabia, you know, in terms of the fact that Saudi Arabia is spending nearly $3 billion of its sovereign wealth fund and awarding large number of projects. For India, this is a key opportunity, isn't it?
Well, yes, Nupur. So let's give a perspective. India is the second largest trade partner of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia happens to be our fourth largest trading partner with a two-way trade at about $55 billion. And much of it is energy. But under Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who's seen as a reformist leader in Saudi Arabia, in fact, what he has done over the last decade and more, some people say is a miracle and magic in terms of the way the Crown Prince has weaned Saudi Arabia from a very radical version of Islam, very strict code of Islam, to a very liberal, modern version of Islam, despite the fact that it still remains a very strict monarchy. But the changes that have been brought in terms of women's freedom, in terms of social liberalization, in terms of trade, in terms of realignment of Saudi economy from essentially an oil-based economy to diversifying into tourism and trade, and like what the UAE has done maybe a decade before, Saudis went on to that bandwagon. It's fantastic, and that really opens up a tremendous amount of opportunity. And that's where the realignment of India's foreign policy vis-a-vis Middle East comes in under Prime Minister Modi. The way he has really focused on this geography, which gets reflected in the manner these nations have also reciprocated, with most of them giving their highest civilian honors to Prime Minister Modi, including Saudi Arabia, including UAE, including Oman, including Iran, and so on and so forth. So I think the talks that are going to take place are very significant, Nupur, because 2019 is the year when India and Saudi Arabia had upgraded the relationship to a strategic partnership with the setting up of the Strategic Partnership Council. And it has two prongs or two legs on which the council stands. One is the economy and trade pillar. The other is political, security, defense, social, cultural pillar. Now, meetings of both the pillars have happened over the last couple of years, and today the two leaders would be signing in on the decisions taken by these two pillars under the Strategic Partnership Council. So it's a very significant visit, the pictures of which we are seeing, the import of which is not going to be lost in our neighborhood. And by neighborhood, I mean the western neighbor particularly. Also, of course, the neighbor to the east as well, or to the north, which is China and Pakistan. Now, the thing is that Pakistan has been angling for, alms from Saudis that like they do every couple of years. And on the other hand, we have a situation where Saudi Arabia and India are looking at a very, very broad-based, strong partnership rooted in cultural links, rooted in history, as also, of course, modern trade. An example of which is the agreement which was signed yesterday on the sidelines of the G20 summit, about which you were mentioning, Nupur, the India, Middle East, Europe corridor. Some people say it's going to be a counter to the Belt and Road Initiative. Likely, if it shapes up that way, why not? It's going to be a connected corridor of ports, waterways, roadways, railways, highways, connecting Indian ports and Indian peninsula through the Arabian Sea onto the Arabian Peninsula and then onwards to Europe. It's going to be fantastic if it shapes up, and it's backed up. The vision is really backed up with implementation and execution. And it seems that it's going to happen because, remember, when the announcement was made by these world leaders, including that of India, Saudi Arabia, UAE, United States, and the European nations, the World Bank chief was standing, which means there is intent to back it up with finance. And in that case, yes, if the Belt and Road Initiative could be successful with just one nation guiding it or shepherding it, why can't this new corridor be successful if all these nations really come together? So in that sense, yes, that's going to be a big one. But otherwise, as I said, this is a bilateral state visit, and India and Saudi Arabia are going to do an appraisal between Prime Minister Modi and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of where the relationship stands. There is a fantastic chemistry between the two. And like it happens in every case with Prime Minister, the kind of very personalized diplomacy he does, engaging directly with the leader one-on-one. And so we are going to see the signing of the Strategic Partnership Council minutes, the decisions taken over the last couple of years after the council was set up in 2019. And apart from that, there is likelihood of an energy cooperation agreement also. Remember, as we speak, Nupur, and that's a perspective which a lot of people miss. Everyone connects Saudi Arabia with oil economy, petrodollars and whatnot. But in the last financial year, while the oil economy of Saudi Arabia has contracted by 4%, its non-oil economy on trade, tourism, etc., and other manufacturing has grown by 6%. And we had those pictures coming in just a couple of days back where Mohammed bin Salman, while interacting with some of the top business leaders of Saudi Arabia, was heard saying that Middle East is going to be the next Europe. And so that's the kind of vision with which the Crown Prince is working. And that's why he's diversifying, he's liberalizing, he's modernizing. And obviously, then the Indian side is going to back it up, not just for our own interest of bolstering our energy security, but because if the Middle East is modern, then a lot of other issues in the geopolitical space also get taken care of. And I think that's going to be on the table also. A broad-based dialogue that's going to take place between the two leaders at the Hyderabad house just a while from now. As of now, we're getting the pictures of ceremonial welcome at the forecourts of the Rashtrapati Bhawan, but it seems the ceremony is over, and two delegations would have headed now to Hyderabad House to start the dialogue at 11 a.m., which is going to go on until 12:30, after which there is going to be joint statement, I believe, where the two leaders are going to give us an idea of what really transpired. But as I said, energy cooperation, a possible agreement on that, then ways to increase trade, two-way trade from the $50-55 billion mark, which is good even now, to even more, and to diversify into a non-oil territory, which, of course, the Saudis really want. and then the security element in terms of very basic defense cooperation that exists as of now. Because remember, almost all the living former chief of army staff of Pakistan are in some way or the other employed by the Saudis, if not directly for their defense forces, then in some consultative capacity. So that's one aspect on which perhaps a dialogue might happen. Saudis' dependence on the Pakistanis because of the Islamic links, whether something can be done about it. The Saudis have been very cooperative during India's G20 presidency, even sending a delegation, including with the UAE, to Srinagar in Kashmir, which essentially was a message that insofar as Kashmir is concerned, it's a settled issue for the community around the world, the global community around the world, including very important OIC nations like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and they are done with Pakistan. But then how to take this forward is something which I believe would be discussed when these talks happen in a while from now at the Hyderabad House.
Well, thank you very much.